Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tornado Survival Season 11 here with Minecraft Mike. Last episode we had our tornado surprisingly develop. A thunderstorm after we built our radar was spotted and it quickly grew from an intense thunderstorm to dropping an F2 tornado measured by the radar. That started as an F0 and moved its way across the world and definitely impacted the village, which is a very unlucky village considering all the open space. You know, that's something I think about quite often when tornadoes do strike towns, and especially big ones that decimate them. And you think of how much space there is, and all of the Great Plains, and these tornadoes that are anywhere from just hundreds of meters wide to a half of a mile or a mile wide, and then that actually strikes that town. Of all of the places like it hit this town, it's pretty crazy. Stuff like that. That's how Mother Nature works. But we're going to take a quick storm survey and see if the damage measures up with the radar. And to talk about, so you can see here in the open space, the storm does not appear to have actually picked up any dirt. It just basically ripped the topsoil off, killed the grass, ripped up some grass, and that was about it. You can see a few trees here that have been completely de-leafed, but the actual trees itself are not uprooted. And I know in the past the game never uprooted the trees, but that's something I always tried to change. Maybe we will for the strongest storms, to actually rip the trees up themselves. But you actually find that some of the strongest tornadoes will do just this. They'll rip the leaves off the trees and then often debark the tree and just leave the core of the tree up itself, because it's so quick and violent that it doesn't actually get uprooted. And some trees do have very strong roots, and the ones that fall right over in 70-mile-an-hour winds usually don't have very good root systems, because most trees should be able to handle that up. So one of the problems with this is there wasn't any structures. If you guys did not know, we rank tornadoes based on the damage caused and estimate the wind speed from that. Now we have much better ways to detect wind speeds and radars than we did, say, when the Fujita scale was enhanced. A lot of it was looking back. They looked back on the damage and said, okay, we've seen this damage. This damage corresponds to this wind speed. We'll rate the tornado this. And that's how we still do it officially. You'll hear in the meteorology community a big dispute over the Joplin tornado because damage suggests it was not an F5. But wind speed measurements from Doppler radar mobile Doppler radar suggested it was an EF5, and when it was an EF5, it just did not hit any houses to create damage that would suggest it was an EF5. So you have to go on the damage, which to me is just ridiculous that we still haven't changed our rules to reflect the latest developments of technology. So, for instance, this storm right here could have been an EF5 tornado. But we'll never know because it didn't strike any damage. It didn't create any damage. There was just dirt and crops. So I do like this is a pretty good scar in the world. And I know before it used to rip up the dirt, and maybe the strongest storms still do. But it's quite nice now that it doesn't do that on even these weak ones, because this will be a tornado scar for at least probably a good week or two of Minecraft days, and that it's going to take a while for this to regrow, and you'll never really get the same sort of regrowth. Like, you'll still have parts of the forest that are developed, but if Minecraft trees were to kind of regrow themselves, or if I were to plant some trees to give it a new growth forest, you'd still have some of that damage up. So this is cool here. Once it got to about this section here, it was all determined to be an F2 once it kind of got out of the desert by the radar, which we're just going to use as a good estimate here. So it basically stripped all of the leaves off of these trees in this forest, which was pretty remarkable. We'll have to come over here and cut all of these trees down at a later time. Be some easy resource gathering. And it definitely looks like it got much wider here. I mean, that's a pretty wide storm. I guess each block is like 3 meters, so I would guess that that's like 30 or 40 blocks across. So that's like a couple hundred meters, which is, an average size for a tornado, I believe. I'm not sure what the most common size is for a tornado. I want to say it's like 500 meters or something, a quarter mile. Well, it comes up here, and it looks like it did strike the town, although it struck about half of the structures in the town, not the entire town itself. But I can definitely tell you this was stronger than an F0 or F1. An F0 would just cause leafs, and I think that's less than 110, but an F1 is 110 to 130 or 40 or something. I don't know the exact numbers. I'll have to write those down for future episodes. But as you can see, at this point when it got in here, well-built stone structures appear to be left intact, and the interior rooms were left intact, but any sort of weaker built, say if it was a mobile home or something that was wooden structures or parts of roofs, were basically you're gonna have to demolish the entire house, even though a good chunk of it may still be standing. It's been structurally destroyed. This house appears to be the hardest hit house, where there's even the inside of the rooms have been cleared out of supplies. So it's interesting. It picks up farmland, but it didn't pick up actual dirt, although it might have picked up some. I just can't tell. Actually, maybe it picked up path blocks and farmland, but not dirt itself, which is rather interesting. So the crop loss in this storm definitely puts a total on the damages. Just because a farmer didn't lose their farmhouse, but they lost, miles of crops, is something to also remember. That, even just a big hailstorm, between the hailstorm, like the straight line winds, and, the rear flank downdraft winds, and then the actual tornado itself, if a storm hits, it can decimate an entire farmer's crops and really cause an issue. And most of them should have insurance for that. But looking at this, I would say this is definitely F2 damage. Like, this structure right here is F2 damage. I think that's safe to say that the radar and the damage estimates match itself up. So I would like to keep a book and register, the episode and when the storm hit and whatnot. But I do see lots of villagers around. Oh, wow, this house. We have to keep looking at the damage. This house basically cleared out as well. The whole roof is gone. So yeah, this is definitely F2 damage. You can see F1 damage on the outsides of the houses and F0, but you see a lot of villagers. I'm sure there's a few fatalities, but it doesn't look like it's too bad. And I bet you that's because this storm hit at night, which meant, usually tornadoes at night are bad. But in this case, because it was nighttime, all of the villagers went inside, and unless they were in this house where the roof was pulled off and they were sucked out, essentially, they survived. So basically, these only two houses look like they were completely destroyed. This one, they were still some safety here because not all the walls got just torn out because it was built into the ground. This was, half underground a bit. Now it's getting dark, and now they have I don't think there's a single door left. So I bet you all of these villagers are going to die. So, does this have a door on it? Okay, so they have one home that they're all going to hide in tonight when that storm comes. But we'll go and try and light this up. I'm going to patch this up just because I want to give them a safe place where zombies will not find them. I want to try and see if they can have... so we can still keep some sort of population of these guys up. And I'm also going to run away so that nothing happens and all of the zombies go away. I don't want to take away from that. But I mean, you saw in the smeltery there, the interior walls for those weaker tornadoes were not destroyed. So the wood parts of the interior walls are destroyed, and that's why we tell you go into the most interior room of your house, because it's just that much more that they have to take out. The tornado has to rip out. And I know from... There was recently a picture. Are you serious? Oh, we have a sandstorm developing. Ooh, the radar shows sandstorms. That's cool. Real radars don't usually show sandstorms. They can if it's really big and it's near a radar. You can. For instance, there's a big wildfire in Florida. That radar was able to pick up the smoke from that because it was close to a radar and there was a ton of it. So if you get a big dust storm, you can, if it's near radar and in the right conditions, you definitely can see, especially the leading edges of them. Oh, there's a creeper. Oh, creeper, go away. Let me sleep, please. Where are you? I think I was finishing my thought about that picture where a kid survived, but that's because he went to the bathroom and was hugging the toilet, and basically every wall and the whole house was clean off the foundation except for that interior wall. So, take that seriously. I wonder if the windstorm is this moving? I doubt it moves. It probably just pins it. Like here in the center of this desert, there's a windstorm, and it's got a surrounding area. So I wonder if there's any effects of that outside right now. I wish we could. Okay, that's how you do it. Come on, no. Oh, that was close. One more hit. There we go. There we go. Okay. We can sleep now. So, we'll take that seriously. I guess I want to see if I can make a book. I don't think I have any ink sacs, though. So we'll just put it on a sign for now. Because I don't have a book to write it down on. So I want to write this down as episode 3. We'll just do episode 3, EF2 per radar and damage spawn town hit. And I'll be able to write more off that as long as I just remember that it exists. So, okay. Sandstorm's still going. I want to go peek on that just to go see if we can see it from here. It doesn't look like it's affecting us over here anymore, which we had one recently, which of course makes sense. Oh yeah, I see it. It's raging there. So it's actually blowing in a different direction. So maybe if it was blowing in the same direction as last time towards us, we would have that problem. But it's definitely staying away from us, which is good. Darn it. I wish you could sprint backwards. Like you could, because you can sprint. Let's see, you can sprint forwards. You can only sprint if you're also holding the forward key, but it allows you to sprint left and right at angles. Look, it looks so dusty and hazy. That's a really neat effect. Oh! That's a really good effect he put in. That he did that. Very cool. Okay. Oh, what are these? Are these pocket sands? Oh, this is a placeable sand layer. I don't know how to get pocket sand. I guess we can just turn that into a full block. There we go. Okay. I'm causing problems now with creepers. So, just to look back over here, make sure these villagers survive during the day. Oh yeah, he definitely has a layer up when you're in the desert. That's very good. I appreciate the details. Okay, so this town is really badly damaged. It's a shame. I really like the idea of moving to one of these towns and basically attempt to make it weather ready by putting basements in all of these homes, reinforcing them with better building materials, putting weather sirens everywhere and weather sensors that maybe open trap doors in all of these buildings. A weather spotting tower, better radar, wind speed measurements and stuff on all the roofs of the houses, so we can get some observations, even though I don't think you can actually do that in the game, but just to pretend. I think that'd be a pretty fun idea, and then to rebuild and try and keep the population of villagers up as big as possible, and maybe to eventually put iron golems as well. I think that sounds like a really good idea, and I think we just found the path to take for this series. So I might cut my losses and abandon this town and say this was a good test to see what can happen and as inspiration, and because this is I would prefer to work on something before storms hit, but I'm not sure that's getting to be the case. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to do some exploration on my own and run around and try. I'd like to do it in the plains. I'd be okay with maybe doing it in the savannah, but I'd prefer to do it in the plains. I don't really want a desert village. They're ugly. So I think I'm going to call this village destroyed, and they will not be getting government assistance to help rebuild. It will be all up to them, which means it'll probably never be the same. So we're going to leave it at that. And I think I'm just going to basically pack up my resources and start running in one direction or another and try and find a place. I hear a zombie. Oh, you're trapped down there. Oh, this still has a door. Does it have a door? No, that was not a door. The door is gone. That's where the door was. So I think that's a pretty good idea. And remember, the seed for this, if any of you out there find something good, be sure to put it down in the comments in case you find something good. And I think I'm going to go back, gather some resources, and probably go cut down some of these trees over here too. Well, I'm out exploring, and I went into the desert where the tornado hit, and there was actually no signs of damage. I mean, it's possible that, cacti are so randomly placed that it's possible that they just, there were some missing that got ripped up. But I think I found some of the fatalities of the tornado. It's just rabbits that rained from the sky here. Poor guys. Well, I guess I'll take some of that rabbit first. We can have a little bit of leather here. But definitely looks like that may be where they were dropped after forming up. So I think that officially wraps up. Oh, there we go. So the actual village is right over there. There's this little tiny forest, and then there's a savanna. And I wasn't sure. Oh, we'll gather this pumpkin. We don't have pumpkins yet. I wanted just to check. I couldn't remember what version they added the different forests, like the villagers and spruce forest and stuff, which would be cool, to build in. But I can't remember when they made these orange, and I don't really like the fact that they're orange. So I think that's why I'm going to go try and find some elsewhere, but I also don't want a desert one. So I think we're going to have to do some running around. But I wanted just to take a look. Maybe the orange will grow on me. Because, again, this game doesn't necessarily... Oh, we'll go in here. Maybe there's goodies. It doesn't necessarily depend on which biome you're in. But, wow. Diamonds and a saddle. We'll go ahead and take those. Bring this chest with us as well. For no reason. This is pretty good. They definitely look like they see some impacts from sandstorms here. I do see some sand sporadically placed around. I'm not sure if that comes all the way from that desert over there, which is what it looks like, which would actually be the same desert storm that we had. Or maybe perhaps this desert over here causes some nasty weather. So I'm going to mark this village and its coordinates, which will, do us some good. But I'm not going to be sold on it yet because basically there are plains and deserts everywhere around our location right here. So I'm definitely going to run around and we'll collect some beets. I don't think I have those yet. We'll just get some beet seeds. And I'm not probably going to be able to carry everything I have, but I will. I can't remember if I got carrots and potatoes yet. I think I do, but I'm not sure. I know we didn't have beets yet. So, what I'm going to do between episodes is some exploring on my own, and by exploring, I mean literally just running around in circles, back and forth, exploring in different directions, kind of figuring out what's in which area. Because I want to find a normal-looking village in a plains biome. That is the goal. But if I can't find one within a reasonable distance, which will probably be 500 to 1,000 blocks in each direction, I'll probably just run out in all 4 compass directions, or cardinal directions. Then we will pick that one as our next pick. Because the orange, I think I actually kind of like it. I can't make up my mind, but... I think this is going to wrap up this episode because I think this is a good stopping point. I won't have footage to show for a while. I don't really have a schedule for these videos. I meant to mention that last time. My work schedule, I work 10-hour days, 4 days a week. So when I am working during my work week, I don't really have time to play video games. But then I have a 3-day weekend every week. So I get some time off, and that usually means plenty of time to play games, especially because I'm still new to the town and I don't have friends to go do things with yet. I know that sounds kind of sad, but I don't mean it to sound sad. So there's that. So I don't really have a set schedule because I haven't got totally settled in, and I'm moving again in a couple of weeks to a permanent place. So I've recorded 2 episodes today, and that's probably going to last you a week. It's probably going to be like 2 episodes a week. I think that's a good bet. So plan on that. Not sure which day they'll be up, though. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.